Nearly 1 month into the season, and we've started as well as we could have hoped. Then along comes Norwood. This is the Blue Monday podcast. Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast discussing Ipswich Town up or down since 2015. I'm Richard Woodard and you're tuned into the Prematch show brought to you in partnership with our friends at the Greyhound Pub in Ipswich. For this week, maybe only, we are live, so we want to hear from you in the comments. And we are going the distance on YouTube as well, but we will always be out on podcast audio, available every week. And joining me is my Prematch show buddy, Seb Brown. Seb, we're live.
Hello, mate. How you doing? It's good to do a live one, isn't it? We discussed in the summer. We thought, if it's a big game, we'll do a live one here and there. And maybe it's not the biggest game, but it's been a brilliant month, so it just felt right to do a live show before we round off August with hopefully a pretty impressive points tally.
Let's say hi to some folks. Charlie D, good to see you. Lee as well. Charlie D is half expecting a signing to be announced today. I guess the citizens' advice that I can offer is maybe Twitter doesn't always tell the truth. But who knows? It would be great, Seb, wouldn't it, if we had a live announcement to make, wouldn't it?
What
time are you keeping an eye on it?
I've got it on my phone. Yeah, it was Harness 11 p.m. was it?
On a Friday night, yeah, it was.
It was a Friday night, yeah. So you never know. I'll keep the phone on and I'll look out for the Telegram group going crazy.
Yeah, keep the faith, Charlie, but yeah, maybe not. Evening to Gary. Morning to Michael from Brisbane. Lots of chat on the old. There we go. Charlie D wants an 11 p.m. special. It needs the FBL Tractor. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, happy to be back on a Friday. MW. We are emergency pod. Hopefully not, Lee. Yeah, well, I mean, do we want to talk about transfer business, Seb? Should we get it out of the way? Because a lot of Twitter murmurs from the usual folks, and as of yet, nothing has happened. But we've got an exit, haven't we? Free up some space. Do you want to talk about Matt Penny?
Makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, Matt Penny's gone off to Motherwell. I think the writing was on the wall in the summer, wasn't it? When we brought in Greg Lee, they kind of said when he signed that he was seen to be the backup left back option, and they were going after a first choice. And then, sure enough, Leif Davis arrives, and there's just no room for Penny, is there? He's a perfectly functionable squad player left back, I would say, at this level. He wasn't the best defensively. I didn't think last season he would get caught out at the far post a few times. I liked him going forward. He could put a decent ball in. But we saw when we used, was it 7 or 8 different players in that left back or left wing back position last season, that it was an area the club were clearly going to look at in the summer. And hopefully he'll go off there. He gets 6 months up in Scotland. Hopefully he'll go up there, play a few games, and either win himself a longer deal, or we might look to mutually terminate come January. They've got a couple of injuries. That's why it's only a 6-month one. I was quite surprised when I saw it wasn't a full one to the end of the season, but they've got a couple of injuries to their regular left back, Jake Carroll and Nathan McGinley, and they're playing somebody out of position. So it ticks a box for them. It ticks a box for us. It ticks a box for Penny and makes perfect sense all round.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in January. I suspect, given he's covering for injuries, is unlikely to be made permanent unless he excels there. But as you say, it's not sad's too strong a word, but clearly a very good professional footballer.
Yeah.
Just not up to the level of the people who are now in those two, Lee and who we quite like on the pod, don't we? But Leif Davis gets better and better, as you say. So yeah, we wish him well there.
And it was always going to be that way, wasn't it? 19 signings. He was one of the first ones, if I remember rightly. I think he was towards the start of the 19 signings that came in, and some just aren't going to work out and fall by the wayside. We saw your mate Scott Fraser left last year, etc., and Joe Pickett moved on. And oh wow, thank you very much,
David. Back at it. Thank you, very generous as always, David. Thank you. If you email bluemonday@itfc@gmail.com, we'll sort you out a mug because you've been very prolific this week. In fact, maybe 2 mugs. So thank you, David, for that. Appreciate that. Go on, Seb.
But yeah, like I say, some of the signings were never going to work out. He's kind of fallen into that category, and come January, we'll see him move elsewhere. Potentially, he'll definitely be released. I would have thought at the end of the season it was only a 2-year deal, and we wish him well.
Yep. Lee's mentioning in Derby here. There's been some really good articles and interviews and perspectives on Kieran McKenna this week, particularly the Athletic. And I don't know where it is. It might be in the EADT, but McKenna was talking about Ndaba played a lot at left back for Salford last season. And whilst he obviously did very well there, the intention, I think, is for him to be loaned out to play left centre back, isn't it? So it's an interesting angle there, and in terms of the Lee's point here about would have liked Ndaba to get matches here. He's getting matches at the same level, isn't he? League One.
He'll
And
arguably have
hopefully,
more to do as well in a Burton side that are kind of shipping goals left, right, and centre. And yeah, at Salford he was played left back and even left wing back, I think, on a few occasions. So they clearly want him to go out and play, 35, 40 games for the rest of the season and really look to see if he can do it at this kind of level. If he'd have stayed here, I mean, we've gone out of the Carabao Cup already, obviously. If he'd have stayed here, he would have simply just got the Pizza Cup game against Northampton in midweek and another one in a month's time. And I think his development is served far better by moving out and playing some proper football at the same level as we're at in the position that the club clearly favour him in. And then we can see where we stand next summer. And I think the important thing we did this time as well, we got that 3-year deal signed before he went away. So if he does go to Burton and absolutely smashes it, a la Tyree Simpson, etc., we've covered ourselves now with that new contract and that option. So we won't see a repeat of previous mistakes.
Yeah. In terms of other bits and pieces of news, we would refer people to the midweek show with Ben, Dave, and Joe. Excellent stuff there. They talk about Raheem Harper. They talk briefly about the new blackout third kit, which I've already pre-ordered. It's one of those. It's going to be an expensive season, isn't it? But I very much like it. It feels like a kind of a shirt you can wear. I mean, most people. Now I live back in Ipswich. It's great to see people in town walking around in Ipswich shirts and stuff like that. But this is kind of one which is a bit nondescript, where you can kind of get away with wearing it every day if you wanted to. And
are you telling yourself that to justify the 3 shirts?
No, I don't have to justify it. That's my money, my choice. So I'm very happy with my purchase, albeit I did buy something else in the club shop earlier in the week, which I probably wouldn't have done if I knew that there was a third kit going to be put on sale the next day. So hey ho, it is what it is. But I'm very pleased with that. And before we start talking about Barnsley, let's talk about ITFC women. They face Gillingham on Sunday at the AGL Arena. Gillingham, I think, are up for sale at the moment. A little bit of a challenging time for them. And ITFC women defeated by Portsmouth on the opening day, and a couple of serious injuries to Zoe Barrett and to Kyra Robertson. I'm not sure we've heard anything more about those, so wait and see there. But another home game, and if you haven't got down to the AGL Arena yet, and you're off the back of the optimism and positivity of the Lionesses, then do get down there and give the Tracks girls your support. I will be there, and hopefully we'll see plenty of you there as well. In terms of other bits and pieces, Seb, it's worth mentioning. We've said hello to lots of people, so it's great numbers. So thank you everyone for joining in. And this is Seb and I. This is a labour of love for us, and a lot of you have remarked on the lack of this show going down the YouTube feed, and there's lots of complicated, nerdy reasons behind that. But if you enjoy this, then do give us a thumbs up. It nudges us up the algorithm and lets us know that you love us. And we're very, desperate for attention and all that kind of stuff. But if you enjoy these and want us to do more of them, then we will try to do that. But we've reflected, obviously, that I think we've told a few folks that the Prematch generally is considered a podcast show rather than a video show. So if you guys disagree with that and you want to show us your support, we very much appreciate it. What else have we got? There we go. Andy, thank you for that. I've got Croatia, even Chris, and we've got Paris as well, I think. Neil as well. So good to have an international fan base as well. And we will hear from you guys. But should we jump into Barnes? Did you jump into Barnsley? What are we doing? We're gonna
Barnsley.
Let's talk about Barnsley, Seb. Tell us about how they finished last season.
Yeah, so an absolute nightmare season for them, wasn't it? Finished bottom of the championship on 30 points. A disastrous season because the year before they finished in the playoffs. I forgot that until I was doing the research for it. They finished fifth in the 2021 season before a bit of a disaster last year. And that looks even worse as well when you take into account the fact that Derby finished, I think, 4 points above them and had that massive 21 points deduction as well. So a really, really trying season for them. They only won 6 games all season, only scored 33 goals, conceded 73, and that was a huge drop off from the 78 points they got the year before when they finished in the playoffs. That side, when it lost in the playoffs, was really broken up. Obviously, we signed Connor Chaplin. The manager, Valerian Ishmael, went to West Brom on, I think it was like a 3-year contract, I guess, with designs of shooting them straight back to the Premier League. didn't work out for him, and he was fired by West Brom, I think, before Christmas. He didn't last very long there at all, did he? He took they had a guy on loan from the States, from Orlando, Daryl Dyke, at Barnsley in that playoff season. He went to West Brom with.
Yeah, is he the guy who's posted today and gone viral that he's been putting dishwasher tablets in his washing machine? Can someone let me know in the comments?
No, as he brilliant.
I think that's the guy. I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
But let me know if I could. Let me have a look through YouTube and let me make sure I get that right. But yeah, he posted it. If it is him, he was posting a picture of, he's got finished tablets. Other dishwasher tablets are available, but he was wondering why his washing machine's packed up, and it's because he's chucking in dishwasher tablets. Anyway, keep going, Seb. Sorry.
So yeah, he went to West Brom. He took Alex Mowat with him as well, the manager, when he moved on. So the bulk of that side, the quality players in that side got broken up, and they appointed a guy called Marcus Schopp on a 3-year contract to replace him. It didn't work out. He was fired. Is it dishwasher tablets viral guy? Is it brilliant? He was fired after a run of 13 games without a win, and I think it was 7 defeats on the bounce. They had another caretaker manager, and they bring in a guy called Poya Ashkabi, and they replaced him after 4 wins in 27 at the end of the season when they were relegated. So, any club that has 4 managers in a season, including 2 caretakers, is banging trouble. And they've, complete rebuilding job there. They've come back down, not started amazingly, very inconsistent, but you would expect that from a side that's at a new level with, going through a whole kind of transition.
I mean, they are owned by, I forget his name, Moneyball guy is one of the ownership group there at Barnsley, isn't he? I believe still the case. And that doesn't feel like a functional managerial kind of recruitment situation there, is it? But I guess the stats don't lie, and maybe you make dispassionate decisions on the basis of numbers in your spreadsheet, don't you? But Billy Bean, thank you, Neil. Yeah, I believe Billy Bean's involved still at Barnsley, but Mike Duff is the man there. Should we talk about him very briefly, Seb?
Yeah, obviously a very good appointment. He's known for his time at Cheltenham. Did superb work. He was appointed in June. He joined Cheltenham in September 2018. Finished sort of 16th, I think it was, in League Two the first season. Then he finishes in the playoffs in the COVID curtailed season, and then he wins League Two. And obviously last year he's up at our level. He beat us at Cheltenham. We drew, was it 0-0 or 1-1 at Portman Road? And we had 2 games on the bounce, and we drew, and we couldn't break sides down. So he took 4 points off us last season, did a great job finishing 15th on 56 points, so nowhere near the relegation battle. And he got snapped up by Barnsley in the summer. And that's a really good appointment, I think, because I think he's a really impressive manager.
Yeah, I guess jury's out a little bit on them on him and whether that's a fit. And it might be just a personal thing there. I'm not sure. The way that he went about getting Cheltenham established in League One is not the same type of approach that I think he needs to get Barnsley out of League One back into the Championship. And that's my only thought, is whether he's a fit for the style of play that Barnsley will want to do. And so,
I saw it more as they were accepting it was a bit of a project and a bit of a more of a long-term thing rather than the instant quick fix, which I guess they'd be hoping for. But I think it showed a bit of awareness from the owners that this isn't going to be a straight bounce back. It's going to require a bit of time, a bit of effort. So they've looked at people who've sort of, have a track record of that and putting building blocks in place to have real improvement a couple of seasons down the line. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, let's talk about the start they've made, because I guess, am I asking, is this just a team that's, the G word keeps being used, doesn't it? It's favorite on this pod, isn't it? Is it that, or is it a new manager getting his ideas across, or is it a bit of both? Seb,
to quote Mr. Diamond, I think it's a bit of both, isn't it? Very, very inconsistent this year. So they're currently 16th, only on 6 points. Played 5 games, won 2, lost 3, only scored 4, scored 5 goals and conceded 6. If you look at their form table, it's so up and down. It's lose, win, lose, win, lose, win. So they're very, very up and down with their form, as you would expect. Though I think that the games they've won were Cheltenham and Bristol Rovers, kind of sides I guess you'd expect them to beat if they've got any designs on challenging for the playoffs or finishing in the top half of the table. The sides they lost to were Plymouth, Derby, and Wycombe. So again, that kind of makes sense. Again, the sides you would expect to naturally be up there are the sides they kind of struggle against.
Yeah. Let's talk about last time out, because 2 games in a week for them. They, unlike us, got through in the Carabao Cup, and no disgrace, I guess, losing away at Leeds, is there? But 2 goals conceded from penalties and a long ranger. And Wycombe, basically all of Wycombe's goals, were they not, from Long way
Wickham's
to go,
goal
mate.
of the month competition, wasn't it? There's a
Yeah.
50-yard goal in there as well from Gape.
From
It's
Gape.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a bit of a goals of the season celebration for Wickham last year. I think this is just where they're at. I mean, the game in midweek against Leeds, they made 6 changes, so it was kind of half and half. It was sort of half their first team and half getting minutes into certain legs. Mr. Norwood, who I guess we'll come on to and discuss in due course. But yeah, Duff was quite pleased with their performance against Leeds. He came out afterwards and said, we did okay. They missed a penalty, so they had a chance to get themselves back on level pegging, but they didn't take it, and Leeds added a third in the second half. But the game against Wickham last week, I think, would have been a real eye-opener for them at Oakwell. I guess they're the kind of games they would have expected to hopefully take something from, but they just got absolutely demolished.
And looking at the goals they conceded as well, and there is a little bit of defensive chaos there, a lot of positioning issues that I'd spotted in some of their highlights. Maybe that's something for us to be focusing on. Leeds got in behind them a few times as well, and obviously that running is going to be key for us. We know that our threat is down the wide positions as well, isn't it? So it'll be an interesting one on Saturday. Do you want to talk to us about players coming in? And you mentioned one, obviously, and we mentioned him at the start. It'd be interesting to get folks' thoughts in the comments. Whether am I overblowing the impact of our former striker, or are you feeling a little bit apprehensive as well? But talk us through the other additions, Seb, and any key departures as well, perhaps.
Yeah, so 7 arrivals and 10 departures. So the key ins that we've all heard of are Nicky Cadden, came in from Forest Green, part of that Forest Green promotion winning side. He's a left back / left wing back / left winger. 6 goals and 12 assists for Forest Green last season. He pulled his calf at half time in the warm up against Wickham, so he didn't feature in midweek. And I think he's a doubt for tomorrow. Duff said it wasn't too bad, but he doesn't expect him to feature tomorrow. A couple of centre backs have come in. Conor McCarthy from St Mirren and Robbie Cundy from Bristol City. Luca Connell, a defensive midfielder, has joined from Celtic. Slobodan Tedic is a right winger / right forward who's come in on loan from Man City, one of those perennial Man City loanees who always ends up going out. He did okay against Leeds and got a bit of praise off his manager, so I guess there's a chance he might feature against us tomorrow. And of course, Mr. Norwood joined quite late in pre-season, so he's not really got up and running at Barnsley yet. He's only played just over 200 minutes in the league so far. He started against Leeds on midweek, Wednesday night, whenever it was, played just over an hour and then got subbed, but apparently I think he had about 3 or 4 touches of the ball and didn't do great at all. So I wonder if that was a tactical sub with an eye on Saturday, because there you go. Because surely you'd look to start him. In terms of departures, as any club finds when they go down like we do, your best players tend to get picked off. They lost Carlton Morris and Corley Woodrow in a double swoop to Luton. We were linked with Woodrow at one point, weren't we? I think we were linked with him when Murphy left as well a few years ago.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, and then
when he was at Fulham. Was he at Fulham before?
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, and then at the start of this kind of transfer window, but they both went off to Luton. And Callum Britton was the other notable one as well, who went to Blackburn for a bit of money. He's like a right back / right wing back who got 3 assists last year. He moved on to Blackburn, so he got himself moved further up the food chain. So it is a transitional season with new players arriving, a new manager, and that explains, I guess, why they're so up and down.
Yeah, we've got some folk giving their views on Norwood. A few people, there you go. He's convinced. Hopefully we'll be out of reach before he does. Yeah, consolation goal would be good, wouldn't it? Charlie D's pretty confident as well. And yeah,
I think a big part of it will also depend how the crowd react to him. If we're booing him and stuff, he will be so up for it. He's probably up for it already, but I would imagine the players will know him well enough to marshal him and not to wind him up anymore. But if he starts some of the S-housery and starts getting booed, it'll just fire him up further. So I'm not there tomorrow, but if he starts winding up, I know it'll be difficult, but as best you can, don't jeer him, because I think that will really, really drive him on.
Yeah, agree with that. We are not good at being common sense when it comes to geeing up opposition players.
But Will Keane against Wigan last year.
Will Keane, great example. Yeah, I was there with my head in my hands, going, he's going to score from this corner, and he did. Worth chipping in one comment. I'll see if I can find it very quickly, about another ex-Ipswich player who's making a bit of a resurgence.
Yes.
Is Luke Thomas. I can't find the question. Apologies to whoever put it. But talk to us about him, because he's starting to feature now, isn't he?
He is, yeah. So obviously he was at Bristol Rovers last year and got a bit of tough love from Joey Barton. Obviously we had him on loan in the behind closed door season. He joined in the January and never got going. And obviously he had some mental health issues and left the club and kind of had to go away and sort of almost find himself a little bit. But he's found a bit of a home for himself. He scored a great goal against Cheltenham. Did you see it? He kind of picks the ball up, drifts in on his left foot to the edge of the D and absolutely hammers it home. So he will be a real threat because he's in good form. He's got a goal and an assist so far this season. And he's one to look out for. He'll play in the number 10 role. We'll discuss their formation and likely lineup in a minute. He'll play in that number 10 role, but he really likes to drift. If you look at his heat map, he will drift from the position all over the pitch to pick up play. He especially likes to drift out to that wide position because then he can cut inside on his left foot, and that's where the goal against Cheltenham came from. So that's one to look out for, and I'm pleased for him because he didn't do great us. It was a horrible time that behind closed doors. It was a horrible time in society and general life with all the COVID restrictions and everything. And he got a bit of stick, but I think people do tend to forget that we are all human. And he's gone away to a new place in probably not in the best frame of mind with COVID, etc. He said the club supported him, which is always great to hear. And I'm pleased he's found a home and he's starting to do well. Hopefully, obviously not tomorrow, but we wish him well because there are some things more important than football, aren't there?
Yeah, exactly right. And yeah, I think he got a lot of goodwill, and at a time when all of us in society were possibly struggling with mental health, and he was quite open about it. And I think that hopefully worked in his favour, and good to see him back. And we need to be alert to him on Saturday. Do you want to talk us through the formation then, Seb?
Yes, there are three at the backside. More and more teams, when we do this research, are just three at the back of these days, aren't they? It's definitely the cyclical trend at the moment. So they play a 3-4-1-2 formation. So basically the same as us, but they have two strikers up top instead of the two number 10s or the two wide attacking midfielders. Bradley Collins is most likely to be the keeper. They'll play a back three of Mads Anderson, Robbie Cundy and Liam Kitching. Jordan Williams and Callum Stiles will be the full backs because Nicky Cadden is out injured. Luca Cornell, the guy from Celtic, defensive midfielder. Josh Benson is a central midfielder who kind of he'll move forward a little bit, but he won't be one who's kind of a box to box, getting on the end of things in the box. He'll be quite disciplined. Luke Thomas playing that roaming kind of role that we just discussed, and then up front, Devante Cole, the son of Andy, who I used to sign on Football Manager, I think probably 2018-ish. He was a great buy. Yeah. He'll be one of the strikers. And then it'll either be Mr. Norwood or it'll be Jack Atchison. Atchison started the last few games, but I fully expect it to be Norwood.
Atchison.
What did I say?
Atchison.
What did you say?
It's got an I in it.
Whatever.
You wrote the script, mate.
Potato. Doesn't mean I have to say it.
You're doing it wrong.
I expect Norwood to start. They've got some injuries. We've discussed Nicky Cadden already, obviously. They've got Herbie Kane and Michael Hellick. They've been out since the back end of last season. They're close to a return, but Duff says Saturday will probably come too early for them. They've got a striker, Leia Esika. He's a high earner, though, so he's kind of frozen out the picture, and Duff expects him to move on before the end of the window. So they've still got a bit of business to do in the transfer window, a few injuries. So I'd expect the lineup to be pretty much what I've just said, and I expect Norwood to start.
Yeah, I think chaos, raining down the chaos hammer, isn't it? Do a Ted Lasso. Looking through that team, Seb, I'm aware of Robbie Cundy. I'm aware of Luca Cornell. I'm aware of the strikers and Luke Thomas. Not too many familiar names there, I guess, for the neutral or, maybe most Ipswich fans heading to the game tomorrow. Is that anything we want to reflect on, or is that just our lack of awareness, maybe?
Well, we've not played them for so long, to be fair, have we? I mean, we've been at it for 3 years now. We kind of play the same teams over and over. We've not played Barnsley since the 17-18 season. And the last time we played them at Portman Road, do you know the significance of that? We won 1-0 in April 2018. Do you know what the significance of that game was? Actually, there's two bits of significance from that game. April 2018.
Do you want to ask the comment? Let's ask the folks watching live.
See if the folks, there's one major one and there's a bit of a jokey one. So, that was quite a significant game for a couple of reasons. But we've not played. There you go.
Neil's got in there straight off the bat.
Straight away. Neil. It was the table thump. I don't have to listen to this anymore and the walkout. And the jokey one was the appearance of Barry Cotter, who had 45 minutes of, Cafu, prime.
60 minutes, prime. And then he got subbed and wasn't the sub booed, and that's why Mick quit.
Yeah. And that's why Mick, threw his toys out the pram. But, he was phenomenal for, I thought we had an absolute diamond there. And then, did we ever see him again? I think he played in the cup against Peterborough the first year down. He might have.
He really struggled. He was subbed at half time, wasn't he?
But, I thought we'd seen a player that night that we were going to see more and more of in the future, but no, because we've not played them for so long. That's why I think quite a few names are so unfamiliar to us. They've had their best players plucked away. We took Chaplin. West Bromwich Albion took a fair few. And this is just where they are as a club at the moment.
Yeah. Do you want to start talking about us? And do you have any other questions to ask to the folks watching live? We were going to do a real-time polling, but I don't think we can make that work because you have to be on 2 devices at the same time. So what are your questions for the good folk of YouTube here?
I have no idea. Am I supposed to have something scripted here?
Well, I'll ask.
Well, first off, do we think Norwood will score? Is the consensus in the chat that James Norwood will score? And we'll come on to ourselves. I guess the big talking point after last week, we disagreed on the flagship show about it. Who starts up front for Town tomorrow? Is it going to be Tyrese John-Jules or is it going to be Freddie Ladapo? I guess they're the two big contentious issues. Obviously, Ball is back. I expect him probably to be on the bench with a view of starting against Northampton on Tuesday night. But at least we'll have a bit of central midfield cover because we've not had any for the last few games, have we? Burns is a late fitness call. I wouldn't risk him personally, would you? Vincent Young did fine against Shrewsbury. I think we've kind of proven that we don't need him as much as we did last season. Now we've got that left-hand side kind of, fully functioning. So if there's any doubts about Burns, I'd give him another week off and then look with those games against Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth coming up on the horizon to get him back up to full fitness for those. But the big talking point, Tyrese John-Jules or Freddie Ladapo and Cameron Burgess or George Edmondson coming back in. Let us know what you think in the chat.
And you Freddie Ladapo as well. I mean, maybe he might feature too, or Caden Jackson.
I said Freddie Ladapo.
Yeah, but you're saying is this the new Backinson Baconson debate?
Well, the one I was right about.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain I'm right about this one.
Is it okay? All right. Well, Freddie Ladapo.
Is it Ladapo or is it Ladapo? Write it out in the comments.
Brilliant.
We'll ask him.
Do some phonetic spelling for Seb and his feeble
exactly
brain.
Right. Yeah.
I think he'll start. I think it's harsh to drop John-Jules personally.
Yeah. JJ, Ladapo. JJ,
and I was looking at the heat maps of the 3 centre backs in the games they won. The centre backs were quite deep, so that would suggest a better game for John-Jules, a la Shrewsbury, where he'll drop deep, pick the ball up, and look to kind of make things happen. In the games they lost, the centre backs naturally drifted up the pitch, which would be a better game for Ladapo or Ladepo, however you're saying it. So I think they will go more cautious, and having learned their lesson, we might see a kind of an organised back 3 sitting just in front of the area. In which case, I'd definitely play John-Jules to drop deep and really look to link up with the likes of Chaplin, Harness, and the 2 fullbacks.
It worked last week, didn't it? Certainly.
Yeah.
A lot of support for Edmondson, which I don't think is a particular surprise. But we are split tonight on Ladapo or John-Jules. Not surprising, actually, because I think a lot of us are trying to preempt the kind of questions that Kieran McKenna will be asking and tactical decisions that he's going to be making. Neil's very fair that Burgess has been very good when called upon, hasn't he?
Totally agree.
But I think I just think
at home, Edmondson gives you that little bit more. At home, you're going to want to look to dictate the play, build from the back, and at least with Edmondson, don't get me wrong, Burgess moved the ball quicker last weekend. The big left-footed switch to KVY worked a few times on the wing, but I just think Edmondson gives you that, that kind of more natural composure on the ball, and hopefully we'll look to add in a different dimension to it. Interestingly as well, I think, Norwood, if he does play, would probably look to spin Burgess on halfway almost immediately and get him booked, and then try and focus on him for the rest of the game. I think Edmondson's that little bit more cooler, maybe reads the game a little bit better, and therefore him and Wolfenden against Norwood I'd be much more confident on, I think.
Interesting. I'm not sure I necessarily concur with that one, but I would still start Edmondson, and I'd be starting Ladapo because I like what we've done previously of essentially Ladapo just tires out their back line to the point where you can bring on a Jackson or a John-Jules. But I also totally understand, if we borrow the kind of, was it a Lambertism or a Cookism? It's possibly a Cookism, isn't it? The shirt is his. I think you might have said that on the flagship. So he's obviously got, possession of the shirt by virtue of having such a good game last week and scoring. I just think McKenna might go for Ladapo because of his physical presence, which I don't think John-Jules has. But either way, I think we're pretty clear that those would be the only question marks. Did you give me if your view is that Burns won't be ready, have you given me a replacement at right wing back for Burns?
I'd keep Vincent Young. I thought he grew into the game last week. First half, he struggled a bit and wasn't really getting out there. He had that great moment in the 6th minute with the penalty shout. So, he got forward well on that occasion. And I think he grew into the game. And I think he is the natural replacement for Burns. Edwards has played there, but I don't think he's fit. I guess he'll get some minutes against Northampton in the Pizza Cup on Tuesday. But for me, I'd be keeping Vincent Young there.
Okay. Quite like to see Edwards there maybe start, but I think you'll probably be right. If Burns is 90%, do you chuck him in, or are you we don't have to anymore?
I wouldn't. I'd manage him carefully. We saw last year, how crucial he was, and we were really reliant. I think we rushed him back a few times. This year, we don't need to do that. And with the games on the horizon, like I said a minute ago, with Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth back-to-back weekends, if there's any doubt at all, give him the week off. He only started training today, McKenna said. So give him a full week of training, and then, totally agree with Neil. Give him a full week of training, and then maybe look to bring him back in against Accrington next weekend.
Me and David agree there. David, I did see your message about merch, by the way. I think where our merch comes from, it might not be an issue, actually. I don't think it's dispatched from the United Kingdom. So it might be that the situation you were worried about isn't necessarily the case. But by all means, ping the email to us and we'll try and sort something out, and we'll see what happens. Keep your comments coming in. What we'll do is we will come back and finish off by talking about Ipswich Barnsley. We obviously want some predictions. We want certainly teams and all that kind of stuff. But first off, Seb and I will do our predictions along with the rest of League One. Do you want to tell the boys and girls how last week went for you? And
you're so smug. Look how smug and happy you are. I hate this feature. It's rubbish. I spent loads of time last week prepping this, so I used logic and science and recent form to come up with my
what science did you use?
The science of winning runs, etc. And I did all that stuff. It took me about an hour to go through it all, I think, before the live show. And then Ben just sat there and went 1-0, 2-2. And he jokingly, I joked, screw you over and say 7-5s to everybody. He did it on one score. He went, I'll say Peterborough 4-0. And look, the one game that comes off and you get 3 points was that one. So, this feature's rubbish. Bring back Room 101 or whatever the other thing we did last year was. Bring one of those two things back. Not for me.
No, not prepared. We're not prepared for that one. We are prepared for this, even though it might be less scientific this week. Scientific. Yeah, thank you to Ben for my 3 points there. And essentially, gives the host. I've deliberately made it host and contributor because maybe it disassociating from me will make you feel less bad about being so crap at it. So the host is...
You need to do another one of me versus you, because then I save week 1 where Dave had a nightmare, and also last week is irrelevant and you don't get Ben's points. So I call for...
We could do that if you want.
A third table.
I still don't think you've...
And then when that doesn't work, I'll think of something else and call
the contributor hasn't beaten the host yet.
4th table or something, I don't know.
So whatever metric you want to find, that's fine. But overall, there's an 11-point gap and a 3-round. Yeah. Let's focus on the positive. There's another game week to predict, Seb. So here we go. We want to hear from you in the comments as well if you've got any predictions for these as well. Whether you want to use science or not. FBI Tractor Queries, whether you used a Bunsen burner, Seb.
When I say science, I just simply looked at, shots on target and possession. Statistics. That's a much better word to use, yeah. Replace the word science with the word
along with shit like your predictions were. Right, let's crack on. Telegram have given us their sense of things as well. We are going for a draw Accrington Exeter. Not huge amounts to discuss there. I think probably Exeter's fine form is negated by Accrington's home form, right?
Yeah, I went for a 1-0. Accrington are unbeaten, aren't they? And we're going there next weekend, obviously. So unbeaten in the league. So three draws and a win because their game at Forest Green was called off. Exeter a bit hit and miss. Drawn 1, lost 1, lost. So I've gone for a fairly easy 1-1 there. Bristol
Rovers are a team we like, and I think we're probably not particularly comfortable with. Well, not that we need to be comfortable, but not particularly confident with Shrewsbury's form after seeing them last week. They didn't really turn up, did they? And Steve Cottrell not particularly happy either. So pretty easy one to predict, was it?
I think so, yeah. I mean, they never got going against us at all, did they? They were knackered after the Derby result in midweek. Cottrell came out afterwards and said, they're just much better than us in all aspects of the game. So I'd expect Bristol Rovers with their decent start to win that one. And they're doing okay. I wouldn't be surprised they finish in the top half of the table, to be honest, Bristol Rovers.
Yeah, fair shout. We also think similarly about Cambridge and Burton.
Burton
Burton
are the
didn't
whipping boys, aren't
let
they?
you both down last week. I thought all of us were thinking that Burton were going to go on a bit of a run after a pretty confidence boosting, albeit a defeat against us, but no shows last week.
Yeah, I thought we'd seen enough in that defeat to us to say they might, start to get themselves out of trouble, but it didn't happen, did it? And I can only see, Cambridge are pretty strong at home, and they're doing okay this season. 1-2, drawn 1, lost 2, I think it is. So yeah, I think they'll win that one fairly comfortably.
Derby Peterborough is a tricky one to predict. Derby,
you got Cheltenham Oxford first.
Cheltenham Oxford. Sorry, yeah.
I think Oxford will get up and running. You've gone for a draw. I think Oxford will get up and running there with a win because they've started really badly. So
yeah,
I
Cheltenham
think they'll get up and running
on a bit of a bad run, aren't they? But again, home form there, I'm not massively convinced Oxford are particularly functional yet. Sorry, Derby Peterborough. I think Peterborough
Peterborough won't score.
Yeah, well, I kind of think Derby are secretly pretty good, but can't score too many goals, can they? I think they might cancel each other out. That's why.
Okay, no, I've gone for Peterborough continuing their fine form. I've gone for a 2-1 win.
Telegram kind of agrees with me, but
yeah, they lost to was it Sheffield Wednesday? Peterborough lost to a couple of games ago. But other than that, second in the league, started in really, really imperious form. So I think they'll win that one.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad call. The blue tinted spectacles are on. We're predicting, along with Telegram, with a 90% confidence a home win. But I've seen some stuff in the chat about this. I'm not convinced it's going to be an easy canter in the sun on Saturday. You are
See,
more
I
confident.
thought that last week. Me and Ben did this show last Thursday, and I was kind of thinking a point wouldn't be a bad result, and we were just so dominant and took them apart. But I am fully confident in McKenna. I trust, and I'm going to go for a 3-1, and the one being Mr. Norwood.
Lincoln Fleetwood, yeah. I mean, these are two teams that are really difficult to predict, so I kind of not too
surprised. Lots of draws. Yeah, Lincoln have drawn the last 3. Fleetwood have drawn the first 3, so the draw was the easy win there. That's the science that I used.
And we both think MK Dons are improving.
Well, yeah, they have to get going at some point. Morecambe haven't won yet, have they? They're winless, and MK Dons surely will get themselves up and running. So I think it'll be tight, but yeah, I've gone for an MK Dons win.
Plymouth Bolton, another one of these top 6 teams playing each other rounds. And yeah, you've gone for a draw.
I have, yeah. Plymouth are strong at home, but Bolton are a side I really, really like. So I've gone for a share of the spoils there. What did you go for?
I went for a 1-0 Plymouth win. I just think that home form is strong for Plymouth.
Yeah.
Bolton have got, a couple of draws in there. They're not as... They lose last week.
Plymouth?
No, Bolton.
I
think they did, didn't they?
Sheffield Wednesday at one point.
Yeah, that was last week. So there you go. There's my thoughts there. Port Vale, Portsmouth, all the P's.
Got to be Portsmouth. They started so well. They score so many goals. I think they're still the league's top scorers, aren't they? And yeah, that'll be comfortable for them, I would have thought.
Port Vale, not too bad. That's what I've got them scoring, but I think it'll be tighter than the 3-0 you're predicting there. But they'll score goals, won't they, Pompey? Sheffield Wednesday, Forest Green, pretty straightforward. I think we all expected Forest Green to be doing better, but since the opening day, they've struggled, haven't they?
Yeah, and obviously their game against Accrington was called off, so they're a game behind. But Sheffield Wednesday will be strong at home. They're starting to click a little bit. They had that bit of a blip, didn't they? But they bounced back impressively, and they're starting to click, and they'll win that one. They've just signed who went there this week? Malik. I can't think of the surname, but another decent signing for them. That's it. Yeah, another decent signing for them this week.
Yep. And then Wycombe Charlton.
I've gone for a 1-0. Obviously, they were on an awful run of form. Was it 3 losses on the bounce before they beat Barnsley last weekend? So I think they'll win that one.
Yeah, Charlton, I think we maybe are underestimating Charlton a little bit. I know Ben was positive on them, but yeah, home form for Wycombe, I think, and a narrow victory. I think we're pretty.
You just hope Scott Fraser's going to do something.
I still miss Scott Fraser.
Let it go.
Let it go, man.
Move on.
So there you go. I think Telegram thinks a little bit differently on some of them, but generally I think there's consensus there. Cheltenham Oxford, there's a bit of a split there.
What's the home banker this week? We discussed last time the home banker was the Peterborough result. Oh, it's us this
Wednesday.
Week. No, it's us, 90%.
I kind of discount us because I think it's blue tinted spectacles, but
okay, all right.
2% down.
Wednesday, then 88% Sheffield Wednesday, followed by Cambridge Burton. All right, fair enough. We'll see what comes in next week, and then we won't do it after that. I reckon if we get any further away, we'll just call the feature off.
We'll see. I'm just checking we've got some predictions for the Ipswich game, so I'll put those up. 3-1. We've got matching to you, Chaplin to score against his old club. the Dapo to score his first. That would be good, wouldn't it? Another 3-1. A defender to score after a short corner.
The people, so I'm not sure about
that. David, 1-1. I assume that's our game, David. Let us know if that's another game you're predicting there. Torben's going for a 2-1. Lee's going for a 1-0. Does anybody care about the other game? Just asking. Oh, it's a feature, We need to show deference to the rest of the league. We need to enlighten ourselves with how things are going. So all feedback welcome, but I think it's always interesting to see what's going on, isn't there? Neil's going for a 3-0. Man's gone for a 4-2. Seems like
do you think we're getting overconfident, do you think?
Oh, I'm not. I'm predicting a 1-0.
Well, you're not. No, you never do. We'll be 6 points clear at the last day of the season. You'll still be thinking something will go wrong.
I'm not in a chant promotion or anything like that, yeah.
If we score early, though, if we can score like we did against MK, I know that was after, was it 4 or 5 minutes? If we can score in the first 10 minutes, I've got no reason why it couldn't be a 3-0 or whatever.
David's done another super chat. Thank you, David. Do email us and we'll sort something out because you've been more than generous the last few weeks. So we do appreciate that. We appreciate everyone as well. So if you want to donate via super chat or any other route that we share on the website, bluemonday.itfc.co.uk is up there. You can see that. Lots of details there. Actually, the kind of key ways that you can support us are those thumbs up. As much as you hear us talk about those do make a difference on YouTube in particular. Why not leave us a review, ideally a 5-star review on your podcast app of choice. And if you are so motivated, tis the season for the Football Content Awards. If you want to vote for us for Best Podcast Football League, you can do that via their website, or I think it's _FCAs is their Twitter account. So that is great support as well. But thank you to everyone who financially supports us or just listens and contributes. We appreciate that. We appreciate folk on the old Telegram as well. Seb, do you want to do the weekly run of saying how much we love Telegram?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's growing.
Brilliant.
It's growing week after week. The match day chats is absolutely superb. I'm not there tomorrow, but I really look forward to seeing everybody's pictures from the Greyhound, pictures from the ground. It's a great little community. Come and get involved. And there's no dickheads like there are on Twitter.
There you go. Chucked some naughty words in tonight, haven't we? That's got a special live show and we're starting to act up. Someone has mentioned the background that you've got there, Seb, and now I can't find the chat. Apologies to whoever that was. Do you want to talk to us about that?
It is my lovely new Blue Monday hoodie. Yeah,
Whoa.
Arrived on Monday or Tuesday, I think it was. It's lovely. The quality is really, really good. It's the old-fashioned Blue Monday logo, dead in the middle. It's got a grey sort of hoodie lining and grey toggle strings, and it's a really nice piece of kit. And it's not lovely and warm as well. And be honest, given today's news with the energy prices, it's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than sticking on your heating soon, isn't it?
Can't believe you went there, man.
I strongly encourage everyone to go and have a look at the merch store. There's some really good stuff on there, and that's a really, really nice hoodie. I was surprised. My missus has already eyed it up. She says that she's going to be having that, unfortunately.
There you go. Yep, bluemonday.itfc.co.uk, our website, links to everything you need, and including the merch store, and including Telegram, and including everything else. So there's the end of the plugs. Should we do the outro on the predictions and then we'll finish things off? Yeah, why not? Now's the time to, if you want shout outs or anything like that, or any other predictions, team lineup stuff, get that in the chat and we will come to that before we sign off. 2 bits of housekeeping. Obviously this show is brought to you in partnership with our friends at the Greyhound, obviously a home game on Saturday, so do head to the Greyhound pre-match. The pre-match atmosphere there cannot be beat. And at 2 p.m, when the teams are revealed, Russell Osmond will be reading the teams out, and he will be questioned about said teams by Blue Monday's own David Diamond. So if you want to see the Anton deck of, I don't know, pre-match pubness, head to the Greyhound and check out Osmond and Diamond. It feels like a 80s cop show, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
We also need to mention as well, I know it's been tweeted a lot, there'll be a minute's applause during the game against Barnsley when the clock hits 10 minutes to remember Lily and Alan, who sadly passed away, just 10 weeks old. So Barnsley have tweeted that. Lots of people have tweeted that. We mentioned it as well. So 10-minute mark there, minute's applause. And remember, really sad situation there. So hopefully we can give everyone our support, their family and friends during that moment there. finally, Seb, let's wrap things up. Lots of good stuff in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, as always. We do appreciate that. Mentioned it before, but do give us a thumbs up. Do give us a subscribe. It just helps reinforce that there is love for the pre-match show, and all of Seb's hard work is worth it, albeit the science behind the predictions needs work, doesn't it? What else have we got in the chat as we finish things off? We've got a 2-1. Chaplin Morsey, Norwood goal, red card. A lot of folk predicting a red card, Seb, for Norwood.
I don't think he will. I think if he scores, he will do the. If he's at the North Stand end, I'd imagine the cup is to the North Stand, because obviously he had a bit of a falling out with the fan base. But hopefully we'll marshal him well and he won't get too wound up. Ideally, he starts. He doesn't do anything. He has 4 touches like he did against Leeds, and he gets hooked on the hour mark to some kind of jeers. That's kind of the dream scenario, I guess. But we'll see.
Yeah, we respect all of our ex-players, don't we? Charlie D is helping me out here. Remember, Rich, no amount of anxiety can affect the outcome of an event. He's predicting it too. I disagree, Charlie. My mental well-being and the power of my thoughts definitely influence things. What socks I wear, what time I walk into the Greyhound, all of these things matter. No, they don't. You're quite right. A lot of folk checking on Bits. I'm not sure how he is, but we'll check in on him. He's got back issues, hasn't he? So if you're watching Bits, or you're get well soon and all that kind of stuff. Neil, thank you for there you go. Telegram is amazing. People disagree without being anonymous morons. Yeah, discussion and different opinions are very much welcome, aren't they? Thank you, Skip, as well. We've got 2-0. HCH is still going for Mikey. Yeah. No, Mikey's lovely. Mikey will be back for the flagship.
He's doing the flagship.
Show.
Yeah, he's hosting the flagship.
Yeah. So you can give him your feedback live 8 p.m. on Sunday night, as always. Mikey Penty-Smith in the host chair for that one. Great to have an ITFC legend read out the teams. Who's this Russell Osman guy, says FPL Tractor? Well, exactly right. There you go. Seabass, good to see you as always. One of the pre-match regulars. Lee Long of the pre-match show. Thank you for that. David Bergen's reasserted his 1-1. Michael, great show. Want to try not to shout at the screen and disturb the cats. Yeah, we do worry about the cats, as always. There you go. Russell and Diamond sounds like an iffy 80s breakfast TV show, says Gary. Exactly right. Lovely to have the Friday night show back. Yeah, well done, Seb. Good stuff. We've got 3-1. And we've got Mikey in from the cold. There you go. Excellent stuff. Seb, any parting words before we say goodbye?
No, just everyone enjoy it tomorrow. Obviously, have
whoa.
All right.
Right.
Oh, sorry. Is that the outro? Right.
Every time I say to you, is there anything you want to say before we say goodbye? You always say no, and then you say something. So why don't you just say yes?
That's how I roll.
After all these years, I still
ask me again. Then I'll get it right this time.
Hey Seb, thanks for all of your hard work as always. Do you have anything to say before we sign off?
No.
Okay, good, excellent. No, surely you do.
Oh yeah, everyone have a great time tomorrow. It could be a near perfect month if we can get the win. 1 month done in the season, and we will have set ourselves up absolutely amazingly. Get to the Greyhound beforehand to see Mr. Diamond and Mr. Osman read the team sheet. Have a great time, everybody, and as always, come on, you Blues.
Yep, good stuff. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Do give us a thumbs up. I'll let Seb. Oh, there you go. The standard order stuff, guys. I'm padding Seb because I haven't got this is live, folks. I haven't got the outro ready. Do you want to do your thing again? Do your sign off again, Seb. There you go.
Have a great time, everyone, tomorrow. A cracking end to the month, hopefully. Get to the Greyhound and come on, you Blues.